That's clearly supposed to be Jessie on the cover, as she's wearing her trademark blue clothes, but I'm going to pretend it's Violet, because this is a Violet book. Yes, it only took 16 books for Violet to play a major role in a story. Hooray! So, when are we getting another Jessie book?
Argo Font Book Review, Argo Font Book Review.
The Boxcar Children are spending a week at the beach with Aunt Jane. Only Aunt Jane isn't there. She and Uncle Andy ran away to Africa after the first day. They did the exact same thing in the last book, which pretty much confirms that Aunt Jane hates the Boxcar Children, and she'll take any excuse to get as far away from them as possible. So now the kids are in a mobile home on the beach. They get up early and meet an Englishman named Daniel Lee. Mr. Lee walks along the beach every morning before the beach gets crowded. He has a nice dog and a strange cane. What a weird cane! He doesn't use it to hold himself up. Why? It's not a cane, it's a metal detector. Seriously? The Boxcar Children don't know what a metal detector is? They know about Geiger counters, but not metal detectors. Weird! Benny notes there are 2 sets of footprints in the sand. One is from an adult, while the other is child-sized. Who made these footprints? The mystery deepens at midnight when Benny wakes up and sees 2 people walking the beach. A man in a cape appears and chases after them. A man in a cape? Superman? What are you doing in the Boxcar Children series? Benny uses Mr. Lee's metal detector. He finds a bottle cap and a fancy pocket watch. The watch has a picture of a cat and a place called Tower House. Tower House belongs to a recluse named Mary Smith, who rarely talks to anyone. She only leaves the house once a week to get food and mail packages. The children knock on the door and ask if the watch belongs to her. She says no and quickly dismisses them. 2 mean boys say Mary Smith is a witch with 100 cats. That's not true. She only has 10 cats. 1 for each finger. That's totally normal. The kids hate her, and they even smashed her window with a rock just to see what she'd do. She got the window replaced. Duh, that's what you do when a window breaks. She didn't call the police on the kids, so they've decided she's super weird, and they're probably going to torture her even more now. These kids are jerks. Someone starts a fire in the yard with a stray cigarette. I bet the jerk kids did it. Benny gets the fire department, and they put out the fire before it gets close to the house itself. Mary thanks Benny for saving their house, and Benny suspects a second person is living inside. Now that we're 60% of the way through the book, it's time for Violet to take over. Finally. There's some bad traffic in town. Violet runs through a busy intersection in order to save a cat. The cat is Mary's. She's all of a flutter because she didn't mean to let the cat out, and the cat almost died. Oh no! She lets Violet and Benny come into the house and talk for a while. She says more in 5 minutes than she has all month. But that's okay. Violet says more in this chapter than she has in the past several books. The curtain flutters. Mary goes behind it, and then she asks Violet to stop by tomorrow. Violet does so, and she meets the second person in the house, a painter named Ruth Lane. Ruth wants to do a portrait of Violet holding the cat. It takes her 2 days, and it's a very nice painting. Violet talks with Ruth the whole time, and she convinces her to join the family for lunch tomorrow. Ruth isn't sure because she's incredibly shy, but lunch goes well, and Benny amuses everyone with his silly antics. The mystery is solved when the women say they're the ones who roam the beach at night. They do it at night to avoid meeting anyone else. Ruth has tiny feet, which is why her footprints were child-sized. As for the man in the cape, that's Mr. Lee. He wears a cape at night because, the book doesn't say why. I'm guessing he does it because he thinks it looks cool. Now that Ruth is brave enough to leave her home for food, they decide to do an art gallery of her cat paintings. As thanks, she gives them the painting of Violet, as well as a kitten named Sugar Cookie. Aww. The end. Post-book follow-up? This story is a lot like books 4 and 10, where the Boxcar Children convince a reclusive old lady to rejoin society. It makes sense that Violet is the one who breaks through her shell because Violet is shy herself, and she shares Ruth's fondness for painting. But instead of going that route, the book goes with Ruth likes Violet because Violet likes cats. That's kind of a shame. The book easily could have been more Violet-centered, but it went with cats instead. Really, any of the kids could have wormed their way into Ruth's good graces by being nice to the cat. The mystery aspect to the book is not good. The mystery solution is more or less Ruth avoids people because she's shy. I don't think that explanation is good enough to explain why she hasn't left her house in decades. Also, it's a little surprising that nobody knows a famous painter lives in this town, considering the population is less than 100. There's a mini mystery where the children get a note reading, "All thanks you." It turns out All is supposed to be Ali, which is the cat's name. That mystery was introduced and solved in one chapter. I would have preferred if they stretched out that mystery, as its solution was better than child-sized footprints were just a woman with tiny feet. Overall, this book isn't so good, and it's only noteworthy because one of the girls actually did something for once. The mystery was bad, and the subplot about Mr. Lee could have been left out entirely without affecting the story. Next time the girls get a book, could we make it a good book? I give Boxcar Children number 16, Mystery in the Sand, a 2 out of 10.